Bears minicamp was today, and we got to talk about the biggest takeaways from day one. All that and more in today's episode of the Windy City Breeze Sports Talk Daily. Let's go. Now, if you are new to the channel, please like the video. Please subscribe to the page. Man, we do talk Chicago sports daily on this channel. It's the only channel talking Chicago sports, how Chicago talk. So make sure that you get in tune with us, man. So minicamp starts off today. We heard a lot of great things, and I just finished Chicago Bears podcast with Courtney Cronin, so getting a ton more nuggets to bring to the Breeze family. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. Like I said, hit that like button, all love. First thing that really stands out to me from minicamp starting off, listen, we've heard about Tyreek Stevenson over and over again, and they continue to talk about what Tyreek Stevenson has been able to do, not only just in OTAs, but now day one of minicamp. I heard that he got a couple of really nice defensive breakups today. He's had a couple of picks over the offseason, and Flus talked about him as a guy that he's got everything that he needs to have to be a solid player in this league, and that he's already coming in with the mindset of a veteran player set. He's able to go out there competitively and be able to go out there with the likes of the Kyler Gordons, the Jaquan Briskers, the Eddie Jacksons, right? And be able to compete, feel like he's comfortable in that room, feel like he can go out there and be able to stand up and attack. Love hearing that. Love hearing the confidence out of the young man coming into minicamp. I think that Tyreek Stevenson is going to be a really nice player for the Bears. I think that your hope right now is that he is your number 2 DB coming into this season, your guy standing across from Jalen Johnson, and that he allows Kyler Gordon to continue to be what we hoped he was going to be, that slot guy that's going to be able to get takeaways. Kyler Gordon did also have a pick today. I believe it happened on I think Courtney said that Cole Kmet was coming across, end up slipping. Kyler Gordon able to take advantage of that, able to get that ball, go the other way. Boom. Love what we're hearing. I like what we're hearing from the defensive side of the ball. I think Justin Jones has done some really good things. He talked at the podium as well, and I think that, he's really becoming the vocal leader of the Chicago Bears defense. We heard what he said about Packers fans today. If you didn't, go ahead and give that a listen. Basically said that they are very blank fans, you know what I mean? And that they don't know what they're talking about a lot of times. And as Bears fans, I think a lot of us would concur. Question for you guys. Are you excited? Are you getting more excited about what this defense is becoming? I think, me personally, I'm looking at this defense. I understand that there are holes in this defense, but the part that gets me excited is I see how pieces fit in as we're going through this. And I think that that's one of my biggest takeaways from day one of minicamp. One of my biggest takeaways from OTAs as a whole is that we're really starting to see these guys slate in, get comfortable, and be able to, okay, we're starting to make right moves in the right position. Now we're starting to figure out where we're supposed to be, how we're supposed to line up, who's going to be where on this set. I like that we're hearing that already, because it's not a lot of the same, okay, this guy's shuffling here, this guy's shuffling here. And, even with some of the young guys, Justin Jones talked about some of the young guys coming in, and realistically, he's like, he's the guy that if Javon Dexter or Zach Pickens end up panning out, he's got a job. But he's not taking that mentality. I love hearing that. He says he wants to work with these guys. He loves working with these guys. Zach Pickens reminds him a lot of himself, and that he sees it when he's on the field. And so to me, right, like seeing that Justin Jones is working with these guys, here's the one thing that I continue to see early on. These guys seem like they like each other. They seem like there's a culture there. And I know that may seem like a minuscule thing, right? You go out there, you play football. Who cares if you all like each other, if you're all kumbaya? But at the end of the day, you're now seeing, right, like when we get more of an inside look at a lot of these guys in the modern era of football. When you get that inside look, the teams that are championship teams, you talk about them off the field. You talk about the fun they have. You talk about the relationships that they've built. And it feels like that this team is starting to build those relationships. Those are some of the things that get me excited when I hear these stories coming out of minicamp, I love how we're already hearing about young guys making plays, young guys making an impact early on in this, especially defensively. Let me know how you guys are feeling about the defense in the comments below. Justin Jones had some great comments today on a lot of different things. I was a little surprised about how he talked about the culture last season. I don't know who he was speaking on, but he was throwing shots at somebody, basically saying that, we had a bunch of guys here on 1-year deals that didn't want to be a part of the Bears culture. Now we're building this Bears culture. There's a bunch of guys that want to be here. There's a bunch of guys that love this. Like, it's hilarious to hear. Like, he is literally our vocal leader on the defense. He's basically been slated in as our 3 technique on the defensive side of the ball. So good to hear from Justin Jones on that. Let me know how you guys thoughts on his comments in the comment section below. The other thing that I'm really excited to hear about, Nate Davis, of course, being back. He spoke today at the podium, basically said he was just taking care of some things that he had to get done. Again, don't know why he was there. That was, again, weird situation. I understand voluntary, but you're brand new. You weren't in the building. You weren't working with these guys for 2 weeks. I would think that that's kind of very key relationship building time. But hey, he's here now. He's working with Darnell Wright. We heard from Courtney that Darnell Wright and him are looking very fluid together, that they're moving well together, that the offensive line just being in place, having 5 guys in place is really something that the Bears can really take away from. And then the question mark, right? There's going to be some battles, but maybe not the battles up front that you think. The one thing that I really take away from today's podcast is that when we hear about the battles that are going on, she talked about kind of some of those depth battles and what that was going to be able to bring to the Bears, right? Remember, Alex Leatherwood plays for this team. He was a top 10 pick by the Oakland Raiders, 4 years ago, basically. We still have Lucas Patrick, who has been slated in and has been getting work as the backup offensive lineman, that backup center, backup guard position, right? Who's going to be that swing tackle? You're probably taking 9 into the season. Larry Borum is still on this team. Is he going to be in the mix for that, right? Like Jatari Carter, there's so many question marks on the depth of what's going to be this depth. The one thing that I do like is that I look at these depth pieces as good depth pieces. Alex Leatherwood at a minimum as the swing tackle could be a really nice piece, somebody who can step in. I don't know what he's going to be long term because a lot of question marks there, but the Bears invested some good capital in him by going out and getting him, right? And then on top of that, Lucas Patrick was supposed to be our starting center last season. Unfortunately, due to injury, he wasn't able to get that job back. Cody Whitehair getting slated as the starter. Flus talked about that today and said that Cody Whitehair is going to be the starter at this point heading into training camp, but there will be competition at that position. Those are things where you kind of try to look and you try to see, okay, how is Lucas Patrick going to have an opportunity to get back in the starter position? Is that the guy that you want to have as your backup? What I do love to me is that you have a guy who has starter experience. The offensive line takes a beating. Right? You have a guy that has starter experience at left guard, at center, at right guard. And we all, I understand that we feel better about Tevin Jenkins. We like more what we're seeing from Tevin. We're hoping that he has a healthy season, but realistically, we haven't seen Tevin have a healthy season. So having that insurance policy of Lucas Patrick in there, that does make me a little more comfortable when it comes to this Chicago Bears offensive line as a whole. Let me know how you guys are feeling in the comments. Do you like this Bears O-line? Drop a Y for yes and for no. I'll be down there talking with you guys as well. Let me know why you guys are rocking with what the Bears are doing at the offensive line position. Another guy that we heard coming back from injury, Eddie Jackson, talked at the podium, and he's out there. He's not doing as much as everybody else, but he is out there for a lot of reps. He seems like he's working himself back in. He said that minicamp was such a focus for him to get back on the field, and he has made that focus a success. He was out there working with the ones today and just getting the footwork right. They talked about, Courtney kind of asked him about, being able to backpedal and what it was like to not have to deal with the surgery after that. And Eddie just said, listen, it puts everything into perspective for him. He's able to go out there now and just able to focus on football, but he understands in year 7, we got to start making some things happen. And that's usually how it goes, right? Guys end up kind of feeling their mortality when all of a sudden football is taken away from you. His season got cut short last season, 12 games only for Eddie Jackson. And so to be able to see him come back out and be able to, hopefully continue to be, by the way, another vocal leader of this team. He also spoke on the culture thing last season as well. Like him and Justin Jones both had comments on that. I think that that's something major, that the Bears have a couple of vocal leaders on the defensive side of the football. We've heard that Tremaine Edmonds is a real vocal guy as well. So they're going to be, I really like the defensive pieces that we're seeing. And I like how this thing is shaping out. But the fact that Eddie Jackson's back on the field, standing next to Jaquan Brisker, I think that that's going to be a tandem like we saw last season where Eddie just gets allowed to play free. He gets to go out there and just play ball. I love to see that. And I think that as Bears fans, you should be really excited about the depth of this DB room. I mean, you're talking right now, we're talking possibly 5 deep, 6 deep. And you're talking about probably one of the best starting 5 even with Kyler Gordon, right? You're definitely in the NFC North, probably top 5 in the NFC as a whole. Right, even with the 4, right? Tyreke Stevenson, we're hearing great things. We love what we're hearing. We don't know what he's going to be just yet because he is a rookie. But I mean, you're talking about Kyler Gordon, Jaquan Brisker, Eddie Jackson, Jalen Johnson. That's a really good 4 to run out on the field. And that, to me, I love the names that we have there. I love what that team can do skill set wise, and I love that there's a bunch of guys that really you can move around and like Jaquan Brisker said the other day, said use me like Dove soap. So we start calling him Dove Brisker. That's what me and McKee are calling him, Dove Brisker out here. He said use them like Dove soap. So it'll be really interesting to see kind of what this DB room ends up being. I think that this Bears defense is going to be vastly improved, and that gets me even more excited coming into the season, man. Something else that was a real takeaway for me from OTAs, or I'm sorry, from minicamp. The Bears have been apparently working on the deep ball all off season, and they plan on utilizing this. This was something that was brought out by Justin Jones, surprisingly enough. And yet again, somebody else mentioning the connection without being prompted of 1 to 2, the 1-2 punch that Chicago Bears can put out onto the field. I am so excited about what this team can be with those two on the field, because I mean, like you're hearing them. Justin Jones broke it down. He said he can dominate against man, he could dominate against zone, he could break away from his man, he could play underneath, he could play over the top, and kind of right, like Courtney brought out that they were utilizing DJ Moore as the underneath guy more so today, kind of working on those deep shots, and the Dante Pettis actually was getting some of the run downfield. But it's good to hear that the field to more connection is working well, and that the connection could work so well that you're going to see other guys be able to get in on the mix. Chase Claypool still out, didn't get any run today, right? Dealing with some of the soft tissue stuff, still working. Everybody was in the building, 100% in the building, but just dealing with some of the soft tissue stuff wasn't on the field prevalent. But the fact that Dante Pettis is getting in, you would assume Tyler Scott's probably going to get in a little bit, right? Just seeing those deep shots, seeing guys going down the field, seeing the Bears try to attack, because they played a ton of single high against the Chicago Bears last season, and you'll probably see them try to play that again this season, so that you can, they're going to start the season, hey, listen, let's play up, let's make sure that, very much like they did with Mitch Trubisky, 3 years ago? When was Mitch here? 3 years ago? 4? I don't know. It's been a while. It feels like he was here like yesterday, honestly. But very much like they did with Mitch Trubisky, right? Where, they come in and they say, hey, listen, we're going to force you to play quarterback. You're going to have to throw the football, and we're going to take advantage of the fact that you probably can't. Justin Fields can. And he's going to, and it seems like the Bears are going to utilize that a lot more, especially after last season where they were a very, very run heavy team. I think the Bears are trying to be more of a passing style team. They're going to attack that single high when they get those looks. And I think that the part that's going to be the quick adjustment for Justin is going to be recognizing when that single high is real and when it's a disguised coverage and it turns into possibly a cover 2 or something like that, right? So we'll see kind of how that affects the season, but I love that the Bears are finding ways to attack through the air early on. Remember last season they came out early and said, and here's why I bring that the single high point up. Here's why I bring out the fact that they're attacking deep, because they brought out early last season, we're going to be a run heavy team. We're building this team to be run heavy. We're running the football. We're going to be a run heavy team. Early on here, the entire offseason, this is something they've been working on, passing that deep ball. The Bears are looking to pass the football this season. Justin Fields is looking to pass the football this season, and I think we're going to see a ton more of that. Let me know how you guys feel about what your thoughts are on this Bears offense. Do you like the 1-2 connection like Justin Jones does? Let me know in the comments below. I'll be down there talking with you as well. Let me know your biggest takeaway from minicamp day 1. We'll be back, of course, tomorrow, breaking down even more Bears football. Make sure that you guys hit that like button, subscribe to the page. As always, it's your boy Pat the Designer, back at it again to continue watching our Chicago Bears content. Click the links on the screen or check the links in the description below. And if you're only here for the Bears content, make sure to tune in over on the Chicago Bears Breeze, where we have nothing but pure Bears breakdown. As always, man, it's your boy Pat the Designer, back at it again. Now stay safe out there, Chicago. Peace.